So DQ did try to get you to go to the Cowboys.
This is correct.
Why? And it didn't work out. Why?
It didn't work out. You got asked the Cowboys that.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Dan Quinn saga, this continues to get more and more interesting. While speaking with Kay Adams, now Washington Commanders linebacker Bobby Wagner commented on the fact that he had a chance to come and play with the Dallas Cowboys. However, he stated that she would have to, quote, ask the Cowboys organization why a deal could not get done. I'm going to go ahead and play spoiler alert here. I know why a deal didn't get done. It didn't get done because Bobby Wagner isn't one of our guys. And Bobby Wagner was on the wrong side of age 30 at the time that he was trying to come to the Cowboys and get a contract with the team. And bringing Bobby Wagner in would likely limit snaps for guys like LVE or Damone Clark or one of the Cowboys' own guys. Now, make no mistake about it. Do I believe that Bobby Wagner would have been an upgrade for our linebacker position? Absolutely. I think he's a better linebacker than anybody we had on our roster the last couple of seasons, but I do not think that he would have fixed the fundamental flaws with this defense. I think that he would have served as another Band-Aid that would have got taken off at the same exact time all of the other Band-Aids that was put on this team were taking off. I'm sorry, Bobby Wagner wouldn't have stopped any of those wide open bombs that Green Bay were throwing. But either way, that's neither here nor there. I just kind of wanted to get that out the way, because I know a lot of you guys felt some type of way about the Bobby Wagner interview. I think I know why Dan Quinn is trying to take all of our players. I think I understand why he's moving the way he's moving. And I think I have a very solid theory as to why he may have soured on his time with the Cowboys towards the end of his time here. And it has something to do with this Bobby Wagner interview. Take this ride with me for a second. The combination of not signing Bobby Wagner, we cut some of our linebackers that could have possibly helped us last season, at least give us more depth than we had. And then you combine that with owners who aren't really taking into account what you really want as it pertains to how you want to build this defense, and they're just essentially giving you players and telling you to make it work. That's essentially what Jerry Jones and Will McClay in the front office did with Mazi Smith when they drafted him in the 2023 draft in the first round and threw him into Dan Quinn's system. Dan Quinn did not want Mazi Smith. He didn't really get too much playing time, and when he did, he just really seemed like he didn't know what was going on. And to me, he didn't look like a player that a coach was taking a vested interest in trying to help develop or help bring along, right? And by the accounts of the coaches that are here now, those guys are pretty much saying that Dan Quinn wasn't even trying to use him in the way that he should have been getting used last season.
He lost a lot of weight when he got here, and he was trying to be a attacking 3 technique to get up the field. And you know, we're going to probably play blocks a little bit more than that. You know, try not to get reached, so linebackers know where they're supposed to fit.
Now, you'll hear conflicting reports from the different beat reporters and stuff like that, but I'm sorry, y'all. I'm more inclined to believe the coaches that actually really would know what was going on in the building over the beat reporters that are just only knowing what people are willing to tell them, right? I'm sorry, man. I'm going with what coaches are saying here, and it makes the most sense to me just as far as how we seen Mazi Smith perform last season. But here's the thing. That combination of things just within one calendar season, essentially. This was just the last year for Dan Quinn with the 2023 Cowboys. He had these 3 separate incidents happen. You don't get a player that you want in free agency, you get given players that you don't want in the draft, and they cut some players that you feel like you could probably use on your defense in the offseason. That to me is a recipe for a dude being like, you know what? F you guys. I'm going home and getting my own team. I think that's exactly what we saw with Dan Quinn, and I think that's why we've been seeing Dan Quinn and the Commanders move so shiesty the way they have, to the point to where they're even bringing in guys like Martavis Bryant, who was cut off of our practice squad, hasn't played in NFL in years. They're bringing him in for visits just based off the fact that Dan Quinn was here with the Cowboys last, and I guess he may have seen the guy a couple times in practice, so he wanted to bring him in and give him a chance to make the team with the Commanders. Dan Quinn is thirsty, man. I think Dan Quinn's goal is to stick it to the Cowboys. I think it's to stick it to Cowboys fans because he's gotten a lot of heat from us. And in general, if you look at everything in a vacuum and you just kind of take a step back, take your emotions out of it, and then try to be as objective as possible with any job that you're working at, if you go to your bosses and they refuse to give you things that you need, they take away resources that you need to do your job, and instead they make your job more difficult by giving you resources that you don't actually need need for your job, you would probably be looking for a new job too, right? So I say all this to say, maybe I'm gonna chill out on Dan Quinn a little bit. Even though I'm hoping the worst for the Washington Commanders this season, I can understand why Dan Quinn may be moving the way he is. And I just wanted to make this video to give us a little bit of context to Cowboys fans to really help us all understand what we may really be looking at. I just thought it was an interesting discussion video. This is purely speculation. There's nothing factual that I'm basing this off of. This is just looking at the evidence and the clues provided, and then looking at the corresponding behavior and just putting the dots together. That's essentially all I'm doing here. And I think this is a pretty solid theory, to be quite honest. What do you think about this down in the comments below? Do you think that Dan Quinn got tired of essentially receiving the middle finger from the front office here, and instead of leaving on good terms, he left and wanted to stick it to the Cowboys? Because honestly, if you even listen to how Jerry and Steven have been talking about Dan Quinn and his time here, they haven't been overly complimentary. If anything, they've kind of been pointing out some of the issues that they had with how the defense was being run here from a leadership and culture perspective, and even schematically, right? So I do believe there is a little bit of friction there. Again, let me know what you think about all this down in the comments below. We still them same old Cowboys. See you guys on the next one.
Calling me, texting me, paging me, asking me, am I still the ball? Y'all usually check on me. Listen. I'm still them boys. Hey! Woo! Oh, shut up, my boy. Hey! I'm still them boys.